About the jobs in general and the future of the labor market, what we might expect for November and even the months ahead. Alan Guarino, he is Korn Ferry vice chairman. So we have the November jobs report. You don't need to, this is a snapshot, these numbers that we just got, but what about the overall month and the months ahead, Alan?
Sure. Well, I think we're on a steady recovery. We've seen that. It's nothing to write home about. It certainly hasn't been explosive. I think the last couple of times I've been on, we've been talking about it being a little choppy. And I think John was alluding to that earlier. So in the months ahead, I think it's steady as we go. But I do think there's a theme around this consumption issue. We've been adding jobs, but we've been adding jobs that don't pay a lot. So the numbers notionally look good. But in reality, I don't know that we're putting enough spending power into the hands of folks. But
you have major retailers that are in the process, including Walmart, Target, McDonald's, of raising the minimum that they pay their employees, their minimum wages. So do you see better wages but less job creation potentially in these parts of the economy?
For low-skilled workers, they're not going to benefit that much if there are a lot of new jobs being created for lawyers or high-tech computer programmers. They actually need those low-end jobs. So this might, as we were talking about earlier, this might be a moment when things are starting to improve for the little guy and not the guys at the top of the food chain.
But I know that one area of focus for you has been the use of robots and more automated processes, whether it's in factories or maybe even in fast food restaurants. That doesn't help job creation.
No. So the data going out 10 years is both exciting and scary, depending upon how you look at it. So let's go back to the initial industrialization of the country, right? So basically, job creation was explosive. We actually created middle-class job opportunities when we had the Industrial Revolution. We took people off the farm, we created factories that never existed before, and there were really good jobs for people to have with moderate skill. Well, then we have a developed economy, and then we move to another level of development in terms of the next Industrial Revolution, this notion of artificial intelligence and robotics. So now perhaps we're going to look at situations where low-skilled jobs are going to be replaced by automation. So 27% cheaper for robots today than it was 10 years ago, and probably another 27% 10 years from now.
So that's very scary, but I think, you look back, and I think it's a great point, industrial revolution versus what we have right now, a technological revolution. But I think what you're seeing is a lot of innovation in this country, and that's why you're seeing a lot of startup companies, a lot of people going out realizing that those higher-paying middle-class jobs aren't out there, and they are going to be replaced by artificial intelligence, by robots. So I think you're seeing a push for a lot more entrepreneurship. You're seeing people going out, starting companies, and I think that's what's going to be the next wave to push our economy up.
Do you see that at Korn Ferry? Are you seeing smaller startup companies coming to you to look to make senior placements?
Fortunately, at Korn Ferry, we've always seen them. Our business across the board has always been about helping companies grow. So at every stage, we've seen them. I wouldn't say it's any more or any less. It does kind of look a little bit like 1999 again, but nothing really secularly, impressive.
Monica, I want to bring you in here because all of the Republican candidates, their strategy and speaking to people about the economy and wages and job creation is about their tax plans. Right. And in some ways, if you're going to cut corporate taxes or simplify corporate tax code, that might speak to that issue. But are they doing enough to really kind of reach into people's hearts and connect with them?
Well, they all have very strong pro-growth messages, which is what the American people need to hear and what they want and what the U.S. economy needs. It needs growth. So they're putting all of their eggs into the tax reform basket, which is very smart policy-wise. But in terms of messaging and communicating with voters, middle-class voters that have really been squeezed, working-class voters, doesn't necessarily translate. Conservatives have always made the mistake of talking in numbers, whether it's tax rates or the national debt or deficits, trillions of dollars or percentages. And while all of those are factually true, numbers are cold. They're hard. And something that the left has always done so brilliantly is cast things in emotional terms. So what I want to see from all of these candidates is a more emotional appeal about growth.
Is more Trump like the economy? It's going to be big. It's going to be huge. It's going to be fantastic.
The point Dagen is making is that
because it's an emotional appeal based in national honor that, yes, we're going to get this economy moving again. Whether you attach specifics to it or not, I'm talking about an emotional appeal to voters that will grab them in.
But growth is more, I think the point you're making is that growth is about more than tax rates. There are many other factors that go into whether a company expands or a new startup emerges than what the tax rate's going to be. I think your question is, what are Republicans doing on that front on issues like productivity and the education of the workforce.
Obamacare, regulations, all of the things that are keeping a wet blanket on this economy.
Deregulation,
the
deregulation, Jeb was very strong on that during the at Fox Business Republican debate, and it didn't really take him anywhere.
And Carly Fiorina, too, talking a lot about technology and bringing technology back to the center of this economy, which the kids, the millennials, will respond to. But that hasn't gained her much traction.
Alan, I'm going to give you the final word.
Final word. Well, I would say...
And be quick.
Okay, I would say that the next 10 years is going to be both exciting and a big shift in the way we go to work every day.
Alan, thank you. Alan Guarino of Korn, Ferry. Have a great Thanksgiving.
Thanks a lot. Nice to be here.
And don't